I've got Nick here from Bananagun. What is the true story of Bananagun?
Question for the Zodiac. There is no true story. Just whatever you want it to be. It's just like a We just thought it was a funny name. All the album that coming out of nowhere.
Well, you can always say that, the true story of Bananagun is your new album. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And when did you decide to start Bananagun? Did it start like we were just talking now? You're in Dalesford at the moment. Did it start in Dalesford or did it start in Melbourne or Geelong or where?
Started in Geelong, pretty much, yeah. And then not long after that, I moved up to Melbourne, and so then we just moved the operation to Melbourne because everyone's kind of always lived like in Melbourne or a town like an hour away from Melbourne. So I guess Melbourne's the sort of central hub for everyone.
So would you go down to Melbourne to play shows and things like that regularly as Bananagun, or have you played not too many shows then?
Well, before COVID, we were playing most weekends in Melbourne for a good year or two. Not much of that with COVID on.
No, well, yeah, that's it. Doesn't look like there's going to be not much in the near future either, especially in Victoria.
Yeah.
What does that mean for you? Like, does that mean that you're going to sort of you're still obviously playing music and things like that? Like, you're still going to be creating music. I guess you just don't tour with.
I mean, we're more of a sort of, as much as I love playing live, it's kind of recording and the writing side of it's like the more enjoyable side anyway. So yeah, it's a bummer not being able to sort of have gigs and play and all that sort of stuff.
So are you sort of at the moment now you've released a new album? Have you been writing new music during this time as well? Because you pretty much had this album sorted before COVID.
So yeah, we've just been working on new stuff in between now and then, and it takes up a lot of time putting out an album because you got to like spend so much of your effort on all that sort of stuff. So now that the album's over, it's kind of like officially time to start looking at new angles.
What sort of music have you been listening to then recently? Because I know your album sort of covers everything from like folk, psych, funk, everything in between. What do you listen to yourself, Nick?
It's like heaps of classic sort of 60s psych albums and Tropicalia stuff and African stuff. But at the moment, I've kind of been sort of trying to learn a bit, broaden my chops a little bit, and I've been listening to heaps of jazz.
What instruments do you play?
Mostly guitar, piano, and drums, and then just like whatever else is needed on a song, I just learn that part, and that's all I can really play on that instrument. Like I can play trumpet and flute and like congas and stuff like that on all of our songs. But if someone was like, "Hey, let's have a jam," I wouldn't really know what to do.
So you sort of you pick up an instrument. How do you work out what instrument you're going to play for a song? Do you sort of just hear it in your head and go, "That's what you want," or how do you get it?
Yeah, it's a bit like that. Sometimes it's kind of obvious, like, oh, this song would be I really want to make a nice flute melody for this song. Or like, it needs something stabby like some brass or something. Or just other times, just kind of having the headphones on and experimenting with whatever instruments are lying around, trial and error kind of stuff.
Yeah, and just until you find that right sound, I guess you're going for it. It's music experimentation organically at its best, really. That's how you should be doing it. It's good.
Yeah, and sometimes, like some of the stuff on this album, I did parts on trumpet, but then we were like, oh, it's going to sound, trumpet's so invasive, like, it'll sound better to do these parts on saxophone,
Yeah. Oh, no, that's very, very nice way to do it. So out of like all the music that was on the new Bananagun album, how much of it is you?
A fair bit of it, like guitar, well, Jack does guitar and I do like, I do sort of rhythm guitar and some little leads, and Jack does everything in between that. And I play like a fair bit of all the weird percussion instruments, congas and some harpsichord and flute and trumpet.
You sort of just go and sort of like you were saying, you pick up an instrument and you go for it. Like,
Yeah.
how does that work when it comes to, I guess, eventually you'll like want to play it live? How would that work live? Would you sort of get other people playing the instruments, or would you just be picking up instruments left, right, and center?
Yeah, well, it's a bit tricky. I still don't know the perfect solution to this. We have been playing with having extra friends come and just play extra percussion parts, or our friend Miles and Pierce sometimes comes, two friends that play sax. But yeah, we're kind of thinking we need a strategy for the next album so we can play it live
Yeah.
just as a five piece, you know. So I guess we'll be trying to get everybody to have like a second instrument. Like if there's a little break, then someone can pick up a flute and do some flute. And, yeah.
Well, it's an exciting time to create, your sort of stage show and craft amongst all this too. Because, I mean, if you get up as a band and start playing like that, I think it's going to be pretty impressive.
Yeah. The other thing that's really sucks about it is that it's just like, I'd love to have like a 20-piece band, you know, but because we're pretty small at the moment, you can't like really afford to pay anybody. So I'm hoping that like after a while having recordings out, then we've got a bit more street cred to be able to just sort of convince strangers that know how to play instruments that they should come and play with us, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean,
Just coming out of nowhere, being like, hey, you should come and play trumpet on my song. They're probably going to be like, oh, well, yeah, haven't even heard you. But hopefully now that we've got an album out, we can get that going a bit more.
well, you're starting to build your cred as it is. I mean, you're being interviewed by quite a few people at the moment. Like, there's been a few stations, I guess, that are picking up your music too. I mean, the cred's starting to build, Nick.
Yeah, we're topping up that street cred, baby.
So no, I mean it's going to be entirely possible, and that would be cool. That you start just sort of bringing in all these different really talented musicians, just to even play the live parts on your songs. That could eventually become a thing.
Yeah, totally. And it makes it such a big. I love having shows like a big extravaganza. You know, like you go there to see a show. There's so much more energy when there's like an extra five people on stage, and it looks and feels so much cooler. And yeah,
I definitely agree. Like, what was it? Last year, I saw Marlon Williams play with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, and it was legit.
Wow.
Like, that's next level right there. Having a huge orchestra behind him playing "Make Way for Love" in total, like in the whole thing, playing the whole album, "Make Way for Love," and yeah.
Crazy.
It was cool. It was
That's awesome.
yeah. So I mean, like it's possible. Music is going, and can go in that direction. I mean, even to the point where Mike Patton will play behind symphony orchestras with like Mondo Cane and stuff like that. Like when music's done that elaborately and big, it works. I reckon.
I'd really love to do that. You know, I guess that's a bit of the goal a little bit, to be able to have really big shows like that. But I also like it's also so simple and fun just having like a simple five piece on stage too.
Well,
Some
that's
kind of
it.
happy medium.
Well, you can always do big band shows, and then you can just do normal band shows too. I mean, the possibilities are really endless there.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. No, that's good. I'm glad you got a good goal. Like, at least, you work towards making great music, and then you can work towards making, bigger sounds, I suppose, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Nice. No, very good. What's the plan for Bananagun for the rest of the year, really?
I guess probably like we said, there won't be many shows. I guess we'll probably make a few more videos and just be working on new songs, just kind of jamming and cooking up ideas, I guess. Hanging out.
And also you're like hooked up with a UK label as well, are you?
Yeah, they're really good. So we've got Anti-Fade in Oz and Full Time Hobby in the rest of the world, pretty much. Yeah, they've been good to work with. And we're supposed to be over there in Europe like in May, but that's been pushed to May next year, which may or may not happen still. you know. So but we're hoping to go over there next year.
Yeah, well,
Tour.
that's it. Well, I mean, yeah, no, bigger and greater things. I mean, once these borders open up, a whole world will be out there, and hopefully a bigger audience will be out there too.
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, you never know. I reckon you've got a good plan, though, honestly, Nick. Like, I think it's a nice way to go with it, and I think, that it'll just encourage you to make different sounds and bigger sounds too. It's good, and
Yeah.
and I mean, enjoy this album as well, and enjoy the ride with this album too.
Oh, thanks.
So yeah, no, nice. Is there any songs, I guess, that you really connect with on the new album?
I mean, there's probably, except for maybe like, yeah, I connect with all of them really, because it's all kind of quite, I mean, it's sort of stuff that's all themes that are pretty close to me, I guess. And I guess if you've gone through the writing process with it, and you know what you want from it, so, I mean, and we kind of nailed most of those songs, I think. So it's nice to listen to it and be like, oh yeah, that's what I wanted it to feel like, or yeah, get the sentiment right or whatever.
Well, that's it. And it really is just an album for people that like music. Like, you don't have to be into a certain genre to enjoy it. It's just good music.
That's awesome.
It's I like that it, does move around so much, because honestly, like, if some bands, they will nail sounding the same all the time, but it's life gets, same old, same old. It's good to be able to constantly change it up, even within one album. It's good.
Yeah, for sure. Variety's the spice of life.
Damn right. And last but not least, would you consider yourself a beach, country, or city person?
Beach, country, or city?
Yeah.
Probably country, I guess. I don't know. I grew up on the coast, and I hate not living near the ocean. Maybe somewhere beach with like country close by,
Nice.
or vice versa.
So that would be the ideal location for you, Nick.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, no, thanks for chatting, and I hope the new album just keeps on bringing you more joy and more opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me.